maybe its best function, aside from, you can grow really, really good lettuce in the ground out here. If you try and grow lettuce in the ground out here, you're going to end up with some bitter-ass lettuce. And that's true with a lot of greens. So this thing especially is really good for growing greens. But its finest use, and I use it for this extensively, I run a nursery, is we clone. You can clone just about anything with this thing.
I am so excited to see you guys using that for that purpose. I'm not a huge fan of aquaponics. I love the soil and the food web and all that stuff.
For sure.
I like working in the soil when we can. But this is huge. And I hadn't thought of it, and it's really exciting.
But yeah, I mean, we're even cloning fruit trees. Like these are peaches right here, and they're just now barely starting to form roots. You'll see, where's the one I pulled out earlier? This is a really good example, and most of you are not going to be able to see this, but basically you can take a cutting from something. Season is really important, time of year, is really important, of course. But when you're cloning something, you want to make sure that that you get it to root before the whole thing desiccates. And so right here, you're not going to be able to see that real well, but there's a little bit of callus coming out from underneath the bark layer, and that is the beginning of a root. So in a few weeks, that'll be ready to put into a pot, and then next tree planting season, it'll be ready to go on the ground, which is, here it's the winter. So pretty much like from September to April. But yeah, you can use just about any growing medium, within reason, of course. This is river rock, and we've used...
You don't want to use limestone or anything that's going to impart
pH, yeah. It's going to mess with the pH.
And they recommend 3/4 inch grout.
Right.
Because if you start going finer with that, then it allows for a lot of moisture to get trapped in there. Y'all can plant those in. Just stick them in, get a stick, put in a hole as a bunch. Put them all in together.
I'll put them in
That's a sweet oregano right there.
Marjoram.
Sweet.
Well, marjoram, oregano, same family, same.
Basically, guys,
the gravel. If you go too small, then it traps too much moisture. This allows for a complete draining, and it's a neutral material.
But we've used crushed granite before with great success, and a good mixture that we use in the garden is crushed granite, and it's decent size. It's not like the really fine stuff. Yeah, it's not sand, and a good measure of volcanic pumice, like chunks of pumice. That works really well. It's really porous. The only problem with it is that it grows algae really fast. Because it's gathering all this nitrogen. So it's good that's a good thing to add into a system that has a lot of nitrogen, because it'll pull that out.
How do you problem solve that when it gets algae for that?
Is that?
How would you problem solve that pumice when it gets the algae growth?
What would you do with it?
Is that you're saying, like you're saying it gets algae?
Yeah, it gets algae on it. You can just, if you wanted to, you could just dredge out the whole system and clean it, but which you have to do eventually anyway. It's just you have to do it faster if you have the pumice. You usually put it on the top. That's probably the best bet, is put it on the top so you can remove it easily without having to dredge up the system all the time.
Make sure your water's not topping over your rock. You should have about an inch before the water is. That'll eliminate algae from growing there.
Tell me about this stuff.
This is recycled billboard. This was an old advertisement for I don't know what. So
vinyl.
Yeah, it's
UV
treated
it's an advertisement for the petroleum industry. Just kidding.
Well,
so I use
he didn't go buy more.
That's what I use for the top of my yurt.
Yeah.
So guys, you just take clippings and put them in the rocks and like.
For sure, yeah. Yeah.
And this system is not truly an aquaponics system. We'll probably add fish eventually, but it's what I call pooponics, which is worm cast tea, and you can see it works pretty well. And this is a brand new bed. Beds take a while to mature. They start blooming bacteria loads that take care of the waste. But it's working pretty well.
Yeah.